And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit. And he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously.
Now, Spain is trying to defuse the migrant crisis in its tiny territory in North Africa. The Spanish government says an estimated 50,000 people crossed over from Morocco to Ceuta in a single day. Local officials say at least 34 people died, most by drowning, as crowds came across by land and sea on Thursday. Just take a look at these extraordinary images. I mean, Ceuta now juts out into the sea from Morocco and has long been a target for migrants trying to reach Europe. Here's a look. We saw a look of the chaotic scenes there. It's unclear what caused the sudden rush. Spain's Prime Minister suggesting it was fueled by a recent Spanish Supreme Court ruling on migrants arriving by sea. The surge is already deepening divisions over migration in Europe. The crowds, mostly made up of young men, celebrated as they entered Spanish territory. Take a
On September 23, 2017, the sun, moon, and stars will align to fulfill a 2,000-year-old prophecy. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God, and to his throne. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in a season? So we see here that God himself says that he moved the constellations. They obey his ordained order. There's many more verses. Please pause the video to see them. Okay, so we have the constellation Virgo clothed with the sun. And then, as you can see here, the moon is under her feet, and above her head is the 9 stars from the constellation Leo, plus the 3 planets that align perfectly. And to fulfill the birth prophecy, you have Jupiter that stays in the womb for 9 months. Absolute precision. Another thing you must realize is this is not astrology. This is the lost knowledge of biblical astronomy. Stick with me and you'll see this. If God wanted to speak to all his children across the entire earth and speak to them all at once in the same universal language, how would he do it? Look at Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. When Jesus was born, it was marked in the stars. The 3 wise men saw his star in the east and knew of it. What makes you think his second coming would be any different? This is a very specific passage that connects Revelation 12 and a prophecy of what's going to happen for his believers. The main message is to know that this alignment has not happened in the last 2,000 years since its prophecy. The facts are the facts. This alignment is set for September 23rd, 2017. Some have run the numbers, and the odds of this are in the trillions. And just 33 days before September 23rd, on August 21st, a total eclipse cuts the United States in half, which is extremely rare and we feel is very prophetic. So again, to quickly recap, you have a woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars above her head, who just gave birth after a 9-month pregnancy.
By now, I am sure you have heard of the eclipses of August 2026. Even I was told about it. The sound of a forthcoming eclipse can stir up prophetic overtones and generate much excitement. Looking back to the infamous total solar eclipse of April 8th, 2024, I can remember all of the excitement and expectation of some great event to take place. And when April 8th came and nothing happened, the excitement died along with it. Will we have a repeat of the April 8th disappointment this year in August? Should we be expecting anything to happen with these 2 eclipses? I will probably not have this video up before August 12, 2026 either. Either way, I was informed of these eclipses, and once I became aware of them, the time of them jumped right out at me. These are definite signs, all right, but what sign might these eclipses be giving us? So before I begin, I want to say that I do not, under any circumstance, declare anything will happen at all on any of these certain days. A sign is made to forewarn of something to come, and that is what I want to show. It's as if this is jumping right off the pages of the Bible, however. The most important aspect of the eclipses in August is the timing of when they will happen. These eclipses go along with my documentary, The Fall of America, the Not So Beautiful, and strangely enough, my newest documentary, When the 144,000 True Zion People Overcome the Cult of Israel. So let us begin with the total solar eclipse of August 12th, 2026. I will use a few clips from a video link sent to me, even though this man is believing in a rapture that is never going to happen. However, this is worth seeing.
If we had studied the morning star, we would have seen how this is drilled into us every single year, practically. That recreates the virgin birth. Wouldn't that have been helpful for the church to teach the congregation? Why not celebrate each year that it does do that? His birth. He's rebirthing the virginal birth that actually took place. And the church doesn't tell us this. This is why he's telling us, I am the morning star. Now go look at what I do. He gets birthed by Virgo. Here it is. And do you remember the Revelation 12 sign that we talked about last week? Well, the morning star was in that sign as well. It was up in the crown. It was one of the stars in her crown. It was up there. But watch, after the sign completes, Jupiter is birthed and goes on its way. The sign dissipates. But watch what the morning star / Venus does. It gets birthed again. Folks, this constellation and the relationship that it has with the morning star is special. We see it in the Revelation 12 sign. We just sit around with our hands in our pockets and go, okay, you're the morning star. Thanks. That's good to know. What's the next verse say? That's our church for us. Since then, each year, Virgo has held a lamp. That's the sun as it goes through, providing us with a calendar turn of a year. 2018 was the second year that the Virgin had a lamp. So that means we had two virgins. Then 2019, another virgin. In 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 24, 25. That's what we just saw. We saw Three-Eye Atlas in Virgo, in the womb with the Lord Jesus Christ as the morning star. That was the ninth virgin. It was telling us you've got one more virgin coming, and then it's time to go meet the bridegroom. That's this September. This September, the sun will come through Virgo, and that will be the 10th virgin since the Revelation 12 sign. It's the morning star. The morning star passes by and through that constellation each year as well, and has for the last 10 years, and will again this year. We have a very unusual day coming up. Okay, on August 12th, three very unusual astronomical events take place. There is what they call the Parade of Planets, very early in the morning. Then around noonish, our time here in America, noon to 1 o'clock, depending on where you are, a total solar eclipse. Now, it will be centered not in America, but over parts of Europe and Greenland and Iceland and around and through that area. But right off the bat, we have two stunning events, this Parade of Planets and a total solar eclipse. And that total solar eclipse corresponds with, intersects with the peak of the Perseids meteor shower. This annual huge meteor shower peaks on August 12th, just as the total solar eclipse arrives. When that solar eclipse arrives, suddenly in daytime, people who are in the path of totality are going to look up and see a meteor shower. So there they are, all of them on that side of the sun. Everything is on that side of the sun, going that way, as you can see. And it forms that arc it's talking about across the sky. That's an unusual alignment. What's missing? What's missing? One thing. Do you notice all of the light-bearing things in our solar system are that way? Okay? Starting with the sun, that way. It moves that way. There's one other light-bearing astronomical unit that's not taking part in the Parade of Planets, and that's the morning star. Let's go to the morning star, because this is where it will be on August 12th. It will not be on that side of the sun. It will be the only thing on this side of the sun in the solar system that gives light to us here on Earth. And here it is, right next to Virgin Virgo. There it is. This is the announcement by God that the arrival of the 10th virgin has just happened. He has set this in place who knows how many eons ago, so that all of the light-bearing planets and objects would be on that side of the sun. Venus, right now, the morning star, on that week, will be as far from the sun as it ever gets. The furthest point in its rotation around the sun will be that week. It is far from everything. It's alone. It's in darkness. The Virgin is completely in darkness except for that lamp, which is the light of the world, which is the morning star.
I know that was a little bit long, but that saves a lot of work. Let someone else do it, and it is well worth hearing. Now, I don't know about you, but this one seems to have the Bible jumping right off the pages at us. And I have seen a few others that have some ideas as well floating around out there. And a lot of it does have merit. However, I do not expect events to happen on August 12th. At the same time, this is showing us plain as day what the warning is. And it is much bigger when we see it from the prophetic writings. So let us begin with the total solar eclipse. An eclipse that won't be seen by very many at all in terms of population centers. America, the Babylon, doesn't see the total eclipse at all, a little bit of the partial up around New England area. It goes way up in the north, where Iceland and Greenland is, and utmost north, Russia sees part of it, ends in Spain. Doesn't sound so exciting, right? Why have a major eclipse sign way up there in the north regions where very few at all even get to see it? That is the whole point. Very few get to see it, or it is mostly away from population centers. Greenland and Iceland are not heavily populated, not to my knowledge, and even less the further north one goes. So what might Yahweh be telling us? You might be surprised. The video I showed earliest of the September 23rd Revelation 12:1 sign, well, that's a good place to start. And what goes along with it is the assertion that from September 23rd, 2017, we have 10 cycles or 10 virgins that lands on August 12, 2026. Okay, I agree with that. This makes perfect sense so far. And for this to happen 33 days after the August 21st, 2017 eclipse can be no accident. And remember, as I have shown in my documentaries, the 1290 days ended on September 22nd, 2023, and the 1335 days began on September 23rd, 2023. And don't forget about September 23rd, 2025, which was the false counterfeit Israel's Feast of Trumpets, and with that, remember that false rapture preacher in South Africa, when that rapture didn't take place and it wound up destroying so many lives? Yeah, the same year that Donald Trump first took office that year. And like I showed in my previous video, Zedekiah's 9th year as king, that Jerusalem was surrounded, even as 2026 is the 9th year since the beginning of his first term. And the fall of Jerusalem was in the 5th Hebrew month. And both of these eclipses fall in the 5th month, as we will see. Yet the thing is, what might happen in the 6th month? Ooh, you might be surprised on this one. It is only a guess at this point, but it is a very interesting guess. So if the Revelation 12:1 sign was just 33 days after the first of 3 eclipses starting in 2017, what is that saying about 2026? Remember, there was 3 eclipses over America, the Babylon, and there was 3 courts to the temple. April 8th, 2024 was the first April, and April 2025 was the second, and April of 2026 is the third. And if you remember, in which Artemis II mission launched the evening of the full moon on April 1st, in which the morning of April 2nd was the first day of the year. And we have the same exact repeat of the April 1st deal coming in August 2026. So if this is truly a 10th virgin sign, and it looks to be so, then we can see more of the timing of this war with Iran and make more sense of this and where it is heading. This is going to take quite a surprising turn.
Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia over 127 provinces, that in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom, and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days.
Remember, I showed that starting from September 23rd, 2023, we had one cycle of 90 days, then the second cycle of 99 days, which landed on April 8th, 2024, and then 7 more cycles of 99 days, which landed smack dab on the total lunar eclipse of March 2nd, 2026.
And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me, and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
At 99 years old, Yahweh changed Abram's name to Abraham, and Sarah's name, Saria, to regular Sarah's name, okay? Is this important? Oh, yes, it is as we go along. And we will see where this Esther thing has come into play. I am listing these things because we are seeing them play out. And the number 23 just keeps showing up everywhere we look. Starting from the lockdowns on March 11th, 2020, the 2300 days began, as well as the 1290 days. And once that ended, beginning on September 23rd, 2023, we start our 99-day counts, falling on the 2 total eclipses of April 8th, 2024, and smack on the total lunar eclipse of March 2nd, 2026, which was the high day of Purim that counterfeit Israel celebrates. As I have shown, this Iran war is a Purim war, and they chose February 28th to start the war on purpose. And remember that the first 99-day cycle landed on December 31st, 2023. After the eclipse on August 27th, 2026, there will be no more blood eclipses anywhere on Earth till December 31st, 2028. Once again, absolutely not a coincidence. The 99-day cycles all fell on the exact days they needed to, and all from when the daily was cut off, starting on March 11th, 2020. Yahweh has been correct to the literal day, and in August 2026, it looks like he is, doing it one more time. August is the 5th month, which commemorates the destruction of the first and the second temples. And sure enough, we await the vengeance of the temple. So with what I have shown in that man's video, and there being the height of the Perseid, if I'm pronouncing that correct, eclipse storm, the total eclipse appears to be reading to us the 6th seal being loosed.
And I beheld, when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind.
I am not saying the August 12th eclipse is the fulfillment of verses 12 and 13 in Revelation 6. What I am saying that it is a sign that verses 12 and 13 are definitely on the way. But keep in mind, the moon as blood has to happen on the eclipse of August 27th. So we have the 2 eclipses, and it is the earthquake part that I don't know when it happens. But I can definitely pair these 2 eclipses as announcing the 6th seal earthquake is coming. Even as many right now are thinking we are on the buildup to the 6th seal earthquake. Since the morning star of Venus is where it needs to be at this eclipse, at Virgo, that is wanting to be delivered already, then we might ask why this total eclipse is way up there in the north, where hardly anyone is seeing it, and it ends at Spain. It is at a time that the morning star is where it should be. Okay, now realize when I show these verses, I only do so because this eclipse appears to be Yahweh's response to Satan and his attitude.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
It doesn't say son of the morning star, but we get what this is referring to. The serpent has been copycatting Yahweh, and has been out to ascend where? To the north and overthrow Yahweh. And Yahweh's answer is that he will send the devil down to the pit, even as Satan will be cast down. This is an announcement of what's getting ready to happen. This eclipse in the north is like the announcement of Satan being cast out of heaven soon. For in the very chapter of Revelation 12:1, and that sign, we see Satan really is cast out in Revelation 12. But there is something else that goes along with Isaiah 14 and the sixth seal and this eclipse. And this is what I think it means. And if it does, then watch out, for this is one Jim Dandy sign.
Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. Thus hath the Lord God showed unto me, and behold, a basket of summer fruit. And he said, Amos, what seest thou? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. Then said the Lord unto me, the end is come upon my people of Israel. I will not again pass by them any more. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord God, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day.
Here is the beginning of destruction, at least as listed by Isaiah and Amos. Now please understand, I'm not declaring anything here, just quoting the prophets. Isaiah here talks about the harvest of olives, but that is a mostly October issue, in which houses the fall feast days. Yet the grape harvest usually begins in late August, in most cases. But here Isaiah talks about the gleaning of grapes, to collect the leftovers, not so much the big part of the harvest. If I am reading this right, it appears from the start of the chapter that destruction begins with this summer harvest and going into the fall feast days, but beginning with the start of the grape harvest. For Isaiah is relating about the new wine, which certainly is already being made before the harvest dwindles out. Okay, we have a destruction that is beginning here. As Isaiah goes on, he begins writing in the exact language of Revelation 6, dealing with the earthquake of the sixth seal.
The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously.
When he says that Yahweh will punish the high ones, does it not say they will go to the bomb shelters, as this earthquake is going to come, and at a time that Yahweh is starting to move? Isaiah tells the entire planet shaking, a worldwide earthquake. which means this must be the sixth seal earthquake that is going on, even as in Revelation 6. And they will be gathered as prisoners in the bomb shelters. They may escape destruction for a while in the bomb shelters, but from Yahweh's point of view, they are as prisoners hiding out, right? And once they are in the pits, we can say that we, got them out of our hair for a little bit, got them out of our faces for a little while. All sorts of things are starting to happen. Yet as it does, Isaiah makes a very strange statement here, so I will repeat this verse.
Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously.
To pale means to become lighter in color, and I wrote this down, or to lose color, often due to fear, illness, or shock. It can also mean to seem weak, faint, or less important when compared to something else, or as in the phrase, to pale in comparison. If you are ashamed, do you want to be around everyone to see you? Or would you seek to have a total eclipse way up there because the sun is ashamed of all of us? It doesn't want to be around us per se. Even when way up there in the north, it even hides its face by being blocked out by the moon. And once the sun is blocked out, even the moon is only but a black circle over the sun. The moon's light is not even seen. Both are ashamed and have basically turned their faces from the people. And sure enough, the moon will blush with the blood red moon, which there are no more blood moons till December 31st, 2028. That is over 2 years till we hear from the moon again. If that isn't being ashamed of the people, then just what is it? And here is the part that is ringing to my ears. It is the words that when the sun and moon show that they are ashamed, is also when Yahweh begins to rule over Zion, the time when things begin to kick off. Has not people been showing the signs with Virgo the virgin? Are not the 144,000 going to be the virgins? The first fruits, back to what Adam and Eve had before the fall. Is this the sign that events might begin soon? I don't know, but I sure enough want it to be so. So here is the thing. The solar eclipse goes hand in hand with the lunar eclipse. But what about the moon blushing? What might this be about?
Today's topic is skin blushing. Skin blushing is a very common condition, especially among women. It is also called skin flushing, and it can be caused by the blood rushing to your face and neck, causing it to turn red. It can also be accompanied with other symptoms, including redness and warmth in the cheeks and forehead, tingling sensations, and sweating. Some people also experience other symptoms such as heart palpitations or shortness of breath when they're embarrassed by their blushing reaction.
2 weeks after the great solar eclipse, the sky answers back. On the night of August 27th, Earth's shadow crosses the moon. This is a deep partial eclipse. About 93% of the full sturgeon moon slips into Earth's dark umbral shadow. The Americas see it in the evening sky, while Europe and Africa catch the eclipsed moon toward dawn on August 28th. At maximum, the shadowed moon glows a deep coppery red, with one brilliant sliver still blazing along its edge. Unlike a solar eclipse, this one is perfectly safe to watch with just your eyes. Binoculars make it even better. So find the moon on the night of August 27th, 2026, and watch Earth's own shadow paint it red.
Perhaps blushing isn't the right approach, but that is what confounded confounded, its meaning in this verse. So when we hear a partial eclipse is coming, it sounds unimportant all of a sudden. That is not true in this case. They argue back and forth. Is it 93 or 96% covered? Either way, that's most. Only a sliver of the moon will be uncovered. When someone blushes and tries to hide the face but can't hide all of it, doesn't that sound like this eclipse on August 27th? Well, sounds like it to me, but that's only my opinion. What interests me is the day of the blood eclipse on August 27th. Both eclipses fall in the 5th Hebrew month, and the lunar eclipse is hours before the first day of the 6th month begins, like the 6th seal warning perhaps. The 6th month begins at sunrise on August 28th and announced on the full moon of August 27th. There is just something about the number 27. Remember, the 1335 days ends on May 17th, 2027. Noah and his family came off the ark on the 27th day of the 2nd month. The 2300 days ended on June 26, 2026, which was the 27th day of the 3rd month. Pentecost was on July 27th, 2026 on the Gregorian calendar. And we have the blood eclipse on Babylon's August 27th. That's a lot of 27s. But what else? As I've shown, the Iran war is a Purim war. And they chose it on purpose to start on February 28th so that they could play out the Book of Esther. They started it 2 days before the March 2nd eclipse began, in which I showed that from the end of the 1290 days, we would get the number 127 from Esther landing on the March 2nd eclipse. I realize the flat earth viewpoint. I only use these videos and others, like this video I'm going to show in particular, to relate why they created the 360-degree concept and nothing more. I just want that to be known, and these videos I'm using for illustrations, it's all for the purpose of the video and not to make any argument. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Why do we measure a complete rotation around a circle as being 360 degrees? When you think about it, the number 360 is a bit arbitrary. For instance, it might seem easier for everyone to agree that a complete rotation is 100 degrees, with a right angle being 25 degrees and a half rotation being 50. But that's not the measurement we use. So where did the 360-degree standard come from? The origin comes from the first time that people needed to accurately measure angles, when they looked up to the sky and charted the movement of heavenly bodies. Ancient people all around the world developed various ingenious methods for measuring the movement of the sun, earth, and moon in order to design calendars. The problem with making a calendar is that the rate that the earth rotates to make a day, and the time it takes to orbit the sun to make a year, and the phases of the moon don't all fit together as nice clean pieces. Among the ancient people who faced this challenge were the Babylonians. They created a highly accurate calendar based on the phases of the moon, which last between 29 and 30 days. When they worked to fit these lunar months into a year, they made a system of long and short years, not that different than our current convention of a leap year. To keep things clean and simple, the Babylonians also made an informal, ideal calendar that was made of 12 months lasting 30 days to make a 360-day year. This was also convenient for them because their number system was based on 60. Unlike our numbers today that build on a pattern of 10, the Babylonians built their number system on a pattern of 60. And 360 fit nicely into that pattern. Following this method of breaking a year into 12 pieces, they also broke the length of a day into 12 pieces, called a biru, making their version of an hour. They then broke the 12 biru into 30 pieces, called us, making their version of a minute. This gave a total of 360 us in one day, meaning that over the course of a day, the sun took 360 us to make one complete rotation in the sky. In the 2nd century BCE, the Greek astronomer Hipparchus began studying Babylonian astronomy. As he applied further geometric calculations to their work, he started using their divisions by 360 to describe the degrees of rotation around a circle. And that unit has stuck with us through the millennia.
When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days.
So 180 degrees is half of 360 degrees. If you're standing and you turn all the way around, you just, well, rotated 360 degrees. If you only turn around 180 degrees, then that means your backside is showing. And it's like someone has turned their back on someone. In the story of Esther, that counterfeit Israel loves so much, King Ahasuerus has a brag session of a feast that lasted for 180 days. Quite a long feast, wouldn't you think? 180 days of showing off is how I take this story. So this makes sense why counterfeit Israel had to start the war on February 28th, rather than the blood eclipse of March 2nd. They admitted on video that this Iran war is a Purim war, and it is from their point of view. And they decapitated the top leadership even as Haman was taken out in the story. And it appears that they wanted to have their own version of 180 days of bragging, even as all we hear from the lying lips of Trump that boast how great the U.S. is and how we won and on and on and on. So starting on February 28th, which is day one of the Iranian war, we find that the 180th day of the Iranian war is, of course, the blood red eclipse day of August 27th, in which the eclipse goes past midnight but starts on the 27th. Will anything big happen on that day? My knee-jerk reaction is no, because that has not been the track record. But for this 180-day count to have blood eclipses at the beginning and at the end cannot be a coincidence. And there is no more blood eclipses till December 31st, 2028, in which that day was counted from on the 99-day cycles. So this particular eclipse sticks out like a sore thumb, as they say, which brings me to something I find very curious. This eclipse is seen in varying rates by most of America to Babylon. And remember, it marks the beginning of the 6th month. The day of the first month when it began is April 2nd. Second month began May 1st. May 31st, the third month began. June 30th, the fourth month began. July 29th, the fifth month began. And August 28th is when the 6th month began, or begins.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
Here we see that events are held back until the sealing of the 144,000 has occurred. Whatever this turns out to be, we will have to see. What interests me is this angel ascends from the east, and that is the direction of this eclipse as seen on the earth. Over here in the west, where I live, we will see it first, but over here we will not see much of it but a smaller part of it. The further east the Babylon 1 goes, the more that the moon is covered. The further east, the better the eclipse is seen. In the beginning of this video, I showed just recently when 50,000 estimated people swarmed themselves into Spain from Morocco. And lo and behold, the solar eclipse ends at Spain. And the direct center of the lunar eclipse is right smack dab where they went into Spain. But more on that later. It is the sealing of the elect that interests me here. As Scripture shows, no prophecy is of any private interpretation by itself. So it is with the sealing of the elect. There has to be somewhere else that we can see a sealing taking place. And you guessed it, It shows up in Ezekiel, where he is given a grand tour of the hidden abominations going on in the temple.
And he put forth the form of an hand, and took me by a lock of mine head. And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy. Then said he unto me, Son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted up mine eyes the way toward the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry. And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. Then said he unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, Go in, and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat women, weeping for Tammuz. Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worshipped the sun toward the east.
North, north, and north, and even the east. The solar eclipse is high in the north and heads to the east, ending in Spain. The lunar eclipse gets stronger to the east and goes directly through where Moroccans went into Spain just, over a week ago? Are these eclipses telling us that Yahweh is warning of all the abominations in his temple? Is not both of these eclipses in the 5th month, when the first and second temples were destroyed? Absolutely yes. I think the evidence speaks for itself. How many took the abomination of the COVID vaccines? And the mark of the beast years ended on June 26, 2026. We know this chapter all too well, so we need not go over it all at this time. We just know how horrible it was for Ezekiel to be shown these bad things. Yet this chapter is directly after chapter 7, which is the prophecy of when end-time events are prophesied to begin. What is interesting is when Ezekiel tells us that he is receiving this vision.
And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in mine house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord God fell there upon me.
It was the 6th year, and the 6th month, and the 5th day of the month, which makes September 1st this year as the 5th day of the 6th month. In Babylon's 6th month, the mark of the beast years ended. We had the first day of the year on April 2nd, which had the mission called Artemis II that supposedly circled around the moon. And the 6th moon of the year is an eclipse that announces the 6th month, in which Ezekiel witnesses all the sins in the temple. And once he sees it, then Yahweh sets up judgment.
He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with the writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity.
Now we have 6. Once more. 6 of them was to slaughter anyone young or old that didn't have a mark of some sort on their forehead. This sure sounds like the sealing of the elect to me. What about you? Make your own choice. In Revelation or Ezekiel, the sealing is in the foreheads, and each time it sets them apart from destruction. So it sounds pretty important to me. Now, am I saying that the sealing is in the 6th month? I would love to, but I'm not. But it is worth seeing. It is possible. It did happen in the 6th month in Ezekiel's time. 6th year, 6th month, and 6 to execute judgment. I don't know about you, but this sure sounds like a warning of the 666 that was taken in the forehead. Yahweh didn't even spare the young. And like today, old and young took the abomination into their temples. And I know it's sad and I know it's hard, but we still have to see it the way he sees it.
The identity and significance of Tarshish in the Bible have fascinated theologians, historians, and scholars for centuries. Often associated with maritime trade, wealth, and alliances, Tarshish holds a mysterious yet prominent role in biblical prophecy and history. Some interpretations suggest that Tarshish may correspond to modern Spain or Britain, offering a geographical and cultural lens through which to explore its prophetic importance. One of the most notable mentions of Tarshish is found in Ezekiel 38:13, where it is linked to trade and end times alliances, further amplifying its enigmatic nature. In the Bible, Tarshish is repeatedly associated with maritime trade and wealth. For example, in 1 Kings 10:22, the Bible describes King Solomon's fleet of ships bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks from Tarshish every 3 years.
For the first time in more than 2 years, a total solar eclipse will turn day into night on August 12th as the moon completely blocks the sun. The best views will be in Spain, Iceland, and Greenland, where roughly 15 million people will be in the path of totality. But don't blink, totality will last less than 2 minutes, making it much shorter than the April 8th, 2024 eclipse across North America, when some locations experienced more than 4 minutes of darkness. At the same time, if you're in Canada, Alaska, or parts of the Midwest and Northeast U.S., you'll get a partial solar eclipse. It will also be visible across much of Europe. Cloud cover will be a big challenge in Iceland and could be a show spoiler in parts of Greenland as well.
Tarshish, who or what is it? I can tell you this, like most things in the Bible, it is argued over incessantly. You might be asking, why am I bringing up the subject of Tarshish in a video about eclipses? What if I told you that Yahweh is trying to show us where Tarshish is, as well as telling us that big events are indeed coming? Now that's a big statement to make. So first, let us see a little bit about Tarshish.
Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. But Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and went down to Joppa. And he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord.
They probably witnessed a total eclipse when Jonah was there, or right around the time Jonah was there. I think that it probably happened while he was there. And again, we know that in 763 BC, in the Assyrian records, we have it listed right here, that they had an eclipse. So this is known as the Sagal eclipse, was a total solar eclipse that occurred on the 15th of June that particular year. I believe that is more than likely when Jonah was in Nineveh.
The countdown is on to a once-in-a-lifetime total eclipse.
Total solar eclipse.
Total solar eclipse.
On April 8th.
On Monday, April 8th.
This could be one of the biggest events of the decade on April 8th.
There is a solar eclipse that is coming to the United States of America.
This is an experience beyond all experiences. You can't prepare yourself properly for what this is like.
This one's a little bit different. Why is that? Because it goes over 7 cities in the United States that have the same name. What is it? It is the name Nineveh. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you, friends.
Jesus exposed the following teachings. This generation is an evil generation. It seeks a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah. For just as Jonah became a sign to the people of Nineveh, so the Son of Man will be to this generation. Certainly, where this will become interesting is when we talk about the first eclipse, because this eclipse that is coming this year on April 8th will pass through all these cities called Nineveh. But there is one particular city that the 2017 eclipse crossed directly, a city in Tennessee. Before we get into that, let's see what people are saying about the connection with Jonah. The path that the solar eclipse is following will literally cross the city of Jonah, Texas, several cities and villages called Nineveh. And not only that, it will also pass through the location where the ark is, in Williamston, Kentucky. This eclipse is leaving many people intrigued for a very significant reason: its path. Notice the number of places called Nineveh on the map of the United States. If this is not a sign that God is asking us to repent, then I don't know what would be.
The Bible keeps talking about the ships of Tarshish. So therefore, commercial trading as well as transportation as seen in Jonah. Once called by Yahweh, Jonah makes a run for it, and his plan of escape is to Tarshish. His plan didn't work very well, yet what interests me is that he chose it as some sort of safety hub away from Yahweh. And in the story of fleeing to Tarshish, we know an eclipse happened over Nineveh. Is it possible that the eclipses of August 2026 is literally pointing the finger at where Tarshish is? And if so, what is this telling us? Remember, the April 8th, 2024 eclipse had 8 Ninevehs in his path. That's what I want you to see. Not all 100% in totality, but nevertheless close enough. And the second eclipse that went along with April 8th was the March 2nd eclipse. And the eclipse of August 27th is paired up with the March 2nd eclipse. The March 2nd eclipse was over America the Babylon. Even as the August 27th eclipse, the lunar is over America the Babylon as well. So rather than saying we're across, because remember the 8th Nineveh was in Canada, the other 7 was in America, just for clarification's sake. But what if on April 8th he showed the Ninevehs? This year he's not showing the Ninevehs. Now he's showing with these eclipses where Jonah was fleeing to Tarshish.
Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth, is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. God is known in her palaces for a refuge, for lo, the kings were assembled. They passed by together, they saw it, and so they marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. Fear took hold upon them there, and pain as of a woman in travail. Thou breakest the ships of Tarshish with an east wind. As we have heard, so have we seen in the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God. God will establish it forever. Selah. We have thought of thy loving kindness, O God, in the midst of thy temple.
King David is the prophet, and here he is speaking of Zion. And as always, a travailing. The kings, or we could say leaders, are themselves in travail. But why? Something must be going on to cause it. They certainly don't travail when things are running smoothly. And within this chapter, we have the commercial ships of Tarshish once more. The ships back then was for trade or transportation. So it makes me wonder if the ships of Tarshish is in reality just ships from many countries. Because now, all these countries have ships. But labeled as ships like Tarshish had. But now many countries are like Tarshish. But let's go on to see one more example.
For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations.
And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations.
To Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, that draw the bow, to Tubal and Jabin, to the isles afar off, that have not heard my name, neither have seen my glory. and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto the Lord out of all nations, upon horses, and in chariots, and in litters, and upon mules, and upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain Jerusalem, saith the Lord, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of the Lord.
Isaiah shows here the Tarshish along with others. So therefore, it might be that the ships is from other places as well. But he likes to focus on Tarshish. But what do we see here? This is Isaiah chapter 66. This is the chapter that foretells the travailing of the Zion people. And as soon as the travailing is going on, then deliverance, the second Exodus, is also happening. Hence, once the second Exodus is happening, we have something to look to. Now, which makes this look like the people are leaving out of Babylon, America. That's the language I'm seeing. Or Canada and whatnot. But on ships to go overseas. The ships of Tarshish during the time of deliverance. I don't see much about airplanes, and I know that we didn't have technology. But, let's not be wrong about this. So, to be honest, I'm not for sure yet what the role of the ships of Tarshish is. What I can see, however, unless the internet is telling me wrong, is what is being pointed at with these two eclipses. Now, in this verse, he says, I will set a sign among you. Then he mentions Tarshish, and it's both pointing right at Spain.
Why and how did tens of thousands of migrants cross an international border into Europe in late July? Well, this is Ceuta. It's a tiny Spanish city on the northern coast of Africa. Even though it's surrounded by Morocco, it's officially part of Spain, and that means it's also part of the European Union. Now that makes Ceuta one of Europe's only land borders with Africa, and for years it's been a major migration hotspot. People hoping for a better life in Europe often try to reach Ceuta by swimming around 5 kilometers from Morocco or by climbing the heavily fortified border fence. Most attempts involve hundreds of people, but this time it was different. Up to 50,000 people crossed into Ceuta in chaotic scenes over just a couple of days, overwhelming local authorities and pushing the city's population up by more than half.
Do you see it? Spain gets a total eclipse right as the sun is setting. They get all darkness, and then shortly after, they get darkness again. Just like the April 8th eclipse went, past all these Ninevehs, now I have two eclipses that point the finger at where Tarshish is. These eclipses point the finger at where Jonah was running to, but never made it. So, could all those people, 50,000 or so, crossed into Spain just before the eclipses, be telling us that many will be crossing there in the second Exodus? I don't know, you decide. The August 12th eclipse ends in Spain, and the August 27th eclipse is directly centered between that place out of the island, and Morocco and Spain, where the massive border crossing just happened. Okay. Now, this sounds pretty fishy to me. This appears to be signs that something is coming. Don't know when, just that it will.
And there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. And Zacharias said unto the angel, Whereby shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife well stricken in years. And the angel answering said unto him, I am Gabriel that stand in the presence of God, and am sent to speak unto thee and to show thee these glad tidings. And behold, thou shalt be dumb and not able to speak, until the day that these things shall be performed, because thou believest not my words, which shall be fulfilled in their season. And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto a city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And the angel came in unto her and said, Hail, thou that art highly favored, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and cast in her mind what manner of salutation this should be. And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shalt call his name Jesus. And his mother answered and said, Not so, but he shall be called John. And they said unto her, There is none of thy kindred that is called by this name. And they made signs to his father, how he would have him called. And he asked for a writing table, and wrote, saying, His name is John. They marveled all. And his mouth was opened immediately, and his tongue loosed, and he spake and praised God.
Now imagine that. Zacharias was unable to speak through the entire pregnancy of John the Baptist. And he could not speak until he wrote John's name on a tablet or table. Yet in the 6th month of this period is when Mary is told she will give birth. The big announcement that the Messiah is on his way. Well, doesn't the 10 virgin story tell us the same thing, that he is on the way? Now, any month is useful to Yahweh, but the 6th month just seems to carry a lot more within it. And 6 is the number of man, after all, and we are in the 6th year from when COVID began. And we keep seeing confirmations in Virgo, what we're seeing, even as the Mary in the 6th month was told she would give birth. So is that why everyone is showing that there is this parade of planets, that there's 6 of those on the other side of the sun? Can this all be coincidence as well? Are we not being told something here? I would venture to say absolutely yes.
In the 2nd year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Josedech, the high priest, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, The time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Now therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, Consider your ways. Ye have sown much, and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Consider your ways. Go up to the mountain, and bring wood, and build the house. And I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. Ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when he brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith the Lord of hosts? Because of mine house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house.
The first temple was in ruins, and now it was time to rebuild. And of all days to announce it, it just so happens to be the first day of the 6th month. Haggai lists Yahweh's anger as his own house is in ruins. Yet the people are too busy doing their own thing, their own self-centered comfort zones. Look at his house right now. It is in ruins. It's a mess. No movement of any kind has started yet. Something has to give at some point. And what does Haggai begin to say? He says that the people claimed it was not time yet to build his house. What are they doing today? See, they continued to kick the can down the road, even as most proclaim the kingdom does not come until after the king's return. Are we being told the same words on August 27th, going into the early morning hours of August 28th, Babylonian time? August 28th is the first day of the 6th month, and we have an eclipse to herald it, the last blood moon until December 31st, 2028. That is 28 months later. And on August 28th, we wait 28 months to the last month of 2028 before the moon has anything interesting to tell us. I take this as a final lunar warning. So before I close this one out, I want to show one last example. Keeping in mind, I don't declare anything will happen. It is a comment by Haggai that we should pay close attention to.
Consider now from this day and upward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of the Lord's temple was laid, consider it. Is the seed yet in the barn? Yea, as yet the vine and the fig tree and the pomegranate and the olive tree hath not brought forth. From this day will I bless you. And again the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 24th day of the month, saying, Speak to Zerubbabel governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth, and I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, and I will overthrow the chariots, and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down.
The foundation for the temple was laid on the 24th day of the 9th month, and we are told to consider it all the time, for that day holds significance. If you remember, that day in the Hebrew year was the day that Syria fell and Bashar al-Assad fled Syria back in 2024. The 9th month will be in December. With that in mind, let us see one more day.
In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, For thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yet once, it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land, and I will shake all nations, and the desire of all nations shall come, and I will fill this house with glory, saith the Lord of hosts. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, saith the Lord of hosts. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former, saith the Lord of hosts. And in this place will I give peace, saith the Lord of hosts.
The 21st day of the 7th month is the day right before the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles. Some calls it the last great day, which is fine. And on that day, Yahweh declares, He will shake the heavens and the nations, the earth. Just as the other prophets say the exact same words, the shaking starts. The travailing is in full force. The second Exodus begins, and the foundation for the kingdom has finally come. Are we seeing a pattern that perhaps, starting real shortly, up through the time of when the foundation of the temple began, are we about to see over these next few months world events start to take place? Well, I don't know. The only thing I could do is show you what I've shown you. I don't make any declarations, but these things are well worth noting. All we can do is pray, and I hope I've been some help to you, and I praise Yahweh for this to come to pass.